Shabbat Shalom, Michelle, Tina, René, oh, that's me, Sibyl, gosh, wow, okay, so it's a very, very strange day because it's raining a lot today, so...
It never rained when the Conservatives were in power.
No, exactly. So get ready for Labour power, rain and misery. Huh? Right, Shabbat Shalom to you all, and it's great to be together, even if it's small numbers. So I'm not going to go down the trip guilt, but
Please come.
if we're here for over an hour. So if you want to come, please, you know the way. So we're going to start with Shabbat Korach, which is very interesting because. Korach, is one of the most political parasha of the entire Torah, and it's about argument, controversies, about how one side crushed the other. And I don't think Rishi Sunak actually knew exactly which day he was choosing for the elections, but it's interesting that as a time of heightened political tensions, not only here but in France, that Sunday. Oh my God, what's going to happen there? In the US in a few months, and all these questions about what Korach has to teach us come to light, and I think a very important lesson. So I'm going to talk about Korach a bit later. Tomorrow we have a wonderful bat mitzvah, and I can tell you because of course I read the Dvar Torah before, because I'm preparing the Dvar Torah with a Bnei mitzvah, and it's really good. So we're going to have a good time tomorrow as well. So we're going to start with this prayer, which I think is so important today, a prayer for healing. Because, Shabbat is about rest. It's also about healing. It's about thinking about the world as it is, which is, not really in a very good state, to be honest with you. And we have also a few of our members who are unwell. And I'm not going to name all of you, but I know that some of you are online, so we're sending you love and hugs and thoughts for healing. And there's a very, very, very special day today for Philip and Sandra, because believe it or not, 60 years of marriage. Mazel tov. I think we need to applaud Sandra more than Philip. Really.
Our condolences.
Sandra is a Jewish saint. I don't know how you did it, but Mazel tov. Oh my God, it's. But
now we know the secret to a marriage. Yeah.
So for those online, so Philip was away a lot, which actually probably helps. No, you know what? After 60 years, you're such a great couple. We can't feel, the time that has eroded your relationship. You're still such a lovely couple. I can feel, the energy between you, and it's an inspiration for all of us. So thank you for celebrating it with us tonight.
So did you get a telegram from the king or not?
No?
Yeah, 60. If your family asks, you should have had one.
Oh, nobody asked.
The window.
So when you celebrate your 100th wedding anniversary.
Isn't that 60?
60, you get a telegram.
It's a bit like being 100. You have to let them know.
You have to let them know.
Yeah, and if you let them know, they say,
Oh.
your son's right off.
Gosh, yes. Yeah. Let's write as a synagogue. Let's write to the king and say, listen, Charles, we have a lovely couple who just celebrated the 60th. Oh, Keir Starmer, yeah, he's busy. He's probably busy fixing the country after all what your friends, the mess they did. And Okay, let's do a prayer for healing and also a blessing for you guys, because it's, that makes me really happy. Really, yeah. Ana, Sandra, may I ask you to light the Shabbat candles for us tonight?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlek ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Amen. Shabbat Shalom. So let's bring a bit of wonder in our lives and sing together the Shalom Aleichem, invoking the angels. I don't know if they're real. It actually doesn't really matter. What really matters is the feeling that the song creates in us, a feeling of wonder and of peace. So you know, Shabbat is about creation. It's about celebrating the end of the process of creation by resting. So on Shabbat we sing, we also rejoice, and we remember that the world we inhabit is not something we should take for granted. It's something that is a gift, that we really need to look after it. And you know, we talked about this with Sandra when you were invited by All Saints to talk about creation. And remind me, which text did you use?
So yeah, this was my attendance at church last week. Not just attendance, I stood in this amazing pulpit in the All Saints Church in Kingston. It's really old. And but they said they wanted to a meeting about either environment or volunteering. So I read the Talmud story, Honey and the Carob Tree, which is really about volunteering in the sense of doing something for others with the future generation.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and actually it combines both, because it's a dream, and Ronnie sees someone, planting a tree, and I'm going to really shorten the story, but he sees someone planting a tree, and he wakes up 70 years later, and it's the grandchild of the guy who planted the tree that benefits from it. And then you realize that what we do is not only for us, but it's for the next generations. And that's a very powerful message that we get from this story of thinking about not only about us, which I think it's a bit what's happening at the moment, right? It's a very, it's very difficult to escape that. It's very difficult to think just about us because we don't have anything else to think. But we should remember that we have children, they will have children, and our duty is to preserve the earth for the next generations. So let's sing to the Eternal a new song, sing to the Eternal all the earth. Psalm 96, verses 1 and 2, middle of page 2, Shirul Adonai. Thank you. It's great. It fills us with so much energy, right? Wow. So the next verse, still from Psalm 1996, Ya'alo Sadai v'chol asher bo, az yiraninu kol atzei ya'ar. The Psalms are they are said to be prayers that come, personal prayers that pour out of the heart. But if you read them, it's also absolutely amazing poetry with all the images that poetry can convey. So if you hear something like that, let the field be glad and all within it, and let all the trees of the forest sing out. How do you understand these images? Yeah, it's the bottom of page 2. How do you understand these images of a field that are glad? Oh, you've got another version, sorry.
Everything's flourishing.
Yes, absolutely. You can imagine the spring, the flowers, and everything. And the trees of the forest singing out. It's the same. You can see the leaves coming out of the buds, etc. So there's this idea of nature Of course, we know it's a cycle. It's based on the cycle of the Earth around the Sun, etc., etc. But there's something still absolutely amazing if you think about all the other planets that we know of. I'm not talking about the ones that you do, but actually dead bodies. You know, if you go to Mars, there's no flowers, there's no fields. If you go to the moon, there's nothing. It's a desert, it's rocks. And yet on this little planet, we've got this very subtle and complex life cycle that always emerges all the time, and we can count on that unless we disrupt the cycle ourselves by what we're doing, of course. But
so when it says that the trees in the fields should rejoice and sing out, does it mean that we should feel like that when we see them?
yes, so there's something really holistic in. I think. I mean, that's my reading. Yes. And you know, have you heard about Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav? Yeah, you know. So Nachman of Bratslav was a Polish rabbi, no, Ukrainian rabbi from the 18th century. He didn't live that long. I think he lived 36 or 37 years because he died of exhaustion, really, which is a rabbinic disease, I think. And he developed a sense of spirituality which is absolutely amazing. So he talked about hitbodedut. Hitbodedut means to isolate oneself and to go out in the field, in the forest, and to talk to God. Just, you don't need to read the prayer books, you don't need to read the Psalms, you just go there, you sit in the forest, and for an hour each day, I mean, it's quite a very intense experience, and you just say whatever you want, whatever crosses your mind. And he said, this will transform you. I've tried a bit, and I think it's very difficult, you know, because after 5 minutes, okay, so... But even silence is... yeah, I mean, even silence can be a form. You've done... I know that you go sometimes to the forest and just...
When I was many years ago,
yeah.
I was very disturbed, and I went to the forest, and just literally drove to this particular forest and just there.
Yeah.
And, it's an amazing experience.
Yes. Yes.
They say
You have to be the right to receive, I can't explain that.
Yeah, exactly. So you open yourself to what's happening around you, and you know, we have so many different states of consciousness, and when you do meditation, you realize that. And when you go like this in nature, then you open your consciousness on another level. I don't know the names, doesn't really matter. But then you can absorb a bit what's around you. Yes?
They say that under the canopy of trees, there is slightly more oxygen than anywhere else because of how they respire. And if we have too much oxygen, I mean, that can literally kill a person if you know. But a little bit of elevated oxygen, right? It opens your mind. It actually sort of lifts you up, and that hour, whether or not you say anything, is uplifting.
Yeah,
no matter
absolutely.
what, just by being in that presence.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's very important for us to explore all these states of mind, just because we need to ground ourselves. I mean, you know what you experience, Philip. It's the human experience. You know, we have times in our lives where we don't understand anything anymore. We don't know why we're here. We don't know the meaning of that. It's kind of, and it's part of the package of being alive, right? We all have these moments where, oh gosh, what's the purpose of this? Why do I do that? And when you give, it's called self-love.
Self-love?
Self-love, yeah.
I've got buckets of that.
Okay. Okay, so...
You have to do the right thing and stuff.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
Not necessarily a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, Ya'alo Sadai V'chol Asher Bo. תירננו כל עצי יער, תירננו כל עצי יער, תירננו כל עצי יער, יעלוז אדוני וכל אשר בו הלבוש אדוני, איי 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 איי, יעלוז אדוני וכל אשר בו יעלוז אדוני, איי 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 איי, תירננו כל עצי יער, תירננו כל עצי יער, תירננו כל עצי יער, תירננו כל עצי יער, יעלוז אדוני, אשר בו יעלוז אדוני, It's good to end suspended like this. So, gosh, I mean, we've got two amazing guitarists, right? Thank you so much. No, I mean, I like the way, over the course of a month, you develop your own, you wanted to bring something, introductions, and your own music, and I think that's amazing. I love you.
Yes.
I love it. Thank you so much for that. So the next one, Psalm 97, Ki ata Adonai elyon al kol haaretz, is a kind of a way to close this circle of reflection on nature. God is above all the earth. You are exalted above all human beings. And then we've given a choice to love the eternal and to hate evil, to be loyal to God, and to avoid being wicked. Of course, it's biblical terminology. Sometimes it's a bit difficult to understand, and we need to understand it in a more... we know that we're all struggling with that, right? And even the rabbis, they had this sense of a human being is always between the Yetzer HaTov and the Yetzer Hara. We're always torn, and there's always this tension. We're not always proud of what we do, what we say, what we think, but it's okay. We know that there is a direction that we need to take. And I think this is really the message of these three verses. צדיקים באדוני והודו לזכר קודשו אור זרעו על הצדיק ולשחרר שמחה אור זרעו על הצדיק ולשחרר שמחה תקראו צדיקים באדוני והודו לזכר קודשו תקראו צדיקים באדוני והודו לזכר קודשו. And the other one, Hariu Ladonai. I mean, the main reason why I really love this, it's because of the melody, you know, because of the Sephardi, Spanish vibe, which, you know, it's lovely to have this as well. Shabbat ruchani. Hariu Ladonai.
My mom told me that I was playing it wrong.
Oh.
She thinks I'm missing a note because it's quite dissonant. I was like, no, actually that's
Yeah, it's supposed to be like that. Yes.
That's how we start.
Gosh, Jewish mom will never end, huh?
I thank her for every lesson she paid for.
Yes. Yes, yeah, that's very, very good. So, Mom, if you're there, thank you. We don't want to end that. We don't want to stop the music. So it's kind of...
No, it's a good thing to stop.
Yeah, I mean, it's good for your fingers, I'm sure. It's kind of... So now we've brought in us all this Shabbat energy, and we are going to sing Psalm 92, which is the only psalm that mentions Shabbat. Mizmor Shir LeYom HaShabbat, Psalm 92. It is good to praise the Eternal, to sing to His name, Elyon, the Most High. Hagid Baboker Chazdera, to tell in the morning His grace and His faith in us at night. אדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון, להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון בחינוך, שיר ליום השבת, מזמור שיר ליום השבת. טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון, להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון בחינוך. And now it's time to waltz. Lecha Dodi. If you feel like standing and waltzing, please do it. Yeah, I mean on your own nice. Okay, so it will come or not, it's fine. So Lecha Dodi's page. Yeah. Lecha Dodi likrat kalab, Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kalab, Shabbat nekabela. Shamor וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת לתהילה. lecha dodi likrat kalab, לשבת נקבלה. lecha dodi likrat kalab, לשבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה. בראש מקדם נשוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבת תהילה. lecha dodi לקראת לשבת נקבלה. lecha dodi nekabela. התעוררי, standing for the Barichus. Sorry, guys. Philip, again. Okay, but you don't need to. Huh? Okay. Blessed are you, eternal one, our God, sovereign of the universe, whose word brings on the evening, whose wisdom opens heaven's gates, whose understanding changes time and seasons, and whose will set the stars in their courses in the sky. You make day and you make day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light. You make day pass and bring on the night, and separate day from night. You rule the host of heaven. Baruch atah Adonai, Amariv Aravim. And we stand for the Shema. Adonai Echad, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Please be seated. All this we hold to be true and sure. You alone are our God, and we are Israeli people. You have freed us from oppressors and delivered us from tyrants. You led us out of Egypt forever to serve you in freedom. When we witness your power, we praise your name and gave thanks. Willingly we accept your rule, then, full of joy, we sang together. Grant, eternal God, that we may lie down in peace, and let's rise up to life renewed. Grant, eternal God, that we may lie down in peace, and let us rise up to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your wise counsel, and for your name's sake be our help. Shield us from sickness and war, from famine and distress, and keep us from wrongdoing. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, for you are our guardian and deliverer, a gracious and merciful God. Guard our going out and our coming in, that now and always we may have life and peace. Baruch atah Adonai, Apureh Sukat Shalom, Aleinu al kol amo Yisrael. So now I suggest, instead of saying the Amidah together, we just either say it silently in our own hearts, or we take now some minutes, some time for us to reflect on the week that has passed and to express to God our hopes, anxieties, fear, joy, all the reasons that make us alive tonight. Shalom bimromav, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'yimru Shalom bimromav, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'yimru Amen. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Vince.
It wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad. No, really, indeed, it wasn't bad. Yes. One of the things I love, among the many things I love about Shabbat Ruchani, is that because we're together in a circle, you get to feel what a service leader feels from the bima, the energy that comes from the assembly. Because when when someone is there and leading a service, you have this energy, but I'm not sure if you feel it as much as you feel it today, because we all feel the same, and the energy is very different. Sometimes we're a bit tired, a bit despondent, sometimes we're very energetic. It really depends, and all energy is good, right? It's about being together. So reflecting on, the last weeks now, heading to the end of my time with Keles, the last service that I will be leading, co-leading, obviously, will be next month Shabbat Ruchani, because the last service, I said very clearly to Craig and Rebecca, I'm going to sit with you guys, and I want Keles to show everything that Keles is able to do in terms of service leading. So, and I don't want to know what's going to happen. I just said I'm happy to lead the Torah reading as well. But I don't want to know. For me, it will be a surprise as for you. So the last Shabbat that I will be, Erev Shabbat that I will be leading will be on the 3rd of August. Are you there, both of you?
I'm with my mom.
You're your mom.
Can we
Okay.
do Zoom? I can
Yeah,
play.
yeah. It might be a bit difficult. Are you there on the 3rd of August?
I think so.
Okay. So we will just confirm. What I'd like to is, I know it's holiday time, so that many people will be away, and I'm actually leaving the Sunday. I'm going to France. I will be on the boat on Sunday. But if you're around, let's come one last time together for the Shabbat Ruchani. And I know that you want to continue that after when I'm not there anymore. Please, by all means, you've got the energy to do it. You've got, you know how we can bring energy to Keles. So Shabbat Ruchani will continue. Yeah, it has to, because it brings so much. And you seasoned Shabbat Ruchani service leaders. This is how we say that, right? So tonight I want to talk about Parashat Korach. So we're going to start with a little story, the story that is told in Torah that happened a long time ago in the Middle East, a very quiet region, as we know, after the children of Israel had left Egypt and were wandering in the desert, wondering what the hell they were doing there. So we've got this Korach, a Levite. Interestingly, Kerach in modern Hebrew means ice. Not ice cream, but ice, the ice you find in the winter. I don't know if there's any connection, to be honest with you, but it's really, I was reading this the other day, if there any connection. Anyway, I don't think they had lots of ice in ancient Israel. Maybe in the mountain. So Korach is a Levite. That means that it's the first cousin of Moses and Aaron, so it's very much in the family. And he led a rebellion against the leadership of Moses and Aaron, arguing they hold too much power. And he said, what's for you? You've got too much. Rav lachem, there's too much for you. All the community is holy, and yet you're holding the power. All power. Moses and Aaron were holding the spiritual and more. It's very difficult because there's no, the division between the king and the priest, which you find later in the Bible, and in actually many Western kingdoms, there's this division between the spiritual and temporal power. But, Aaron is really the high priest. And Korach from the family, because, our best enemies usually are in our families. So he was joined by 250 prominent Israelite leaders, Datan and Abiram from the tribe of Reuben. Reuben was the firstborn. it's not some simple a man who is fed up with Moses and Aaron. It's actually a deeper movement within the Israelites. So together, they challenge Moses and Aaron's authority, claiming that all members of the community are holy. In other words, they're all on the same level. And Moses and Aaron had exalted themselves above the others. Okay, Moses then proposed a test to prove that his and Aaron's authority comes from God. So he instructed Korach and all his followers to offer incense before God, stating that God would show who was truly chosen. So incense was part of what was offered it was in the temple, in the tabernacles ritual, and incense is a way it's a very ancient way to bring about the divine, to change the atmosphere, the energy of a place. So it's kind of it's vapor, and at the same time it connects two worlds. So it's quite an important ritual. So the next day, Korach and his followers approached the sanctuary with their incense. Moses said to the others, oh, stay away, because it's not going to go down very well. So all the people stayed away. And of course, God, being God, the earth opened up, swallowed up Korach, Datan, Abiram, and all the others. The families, the possession, really. The Torah doesn't say God killed them, but swallowed up. So they went alive, which is even worse. Can you imagine being buried alive? And additionally, just to make sure that everything was really properly done, a divine fire consumed the 250 men who were offering incense. Okay. It's, it might be an earthquake, a divine earthquake with everything that comes with. So as a reminder of this event, the bronze fire pans that were used by the rebels were hammered into sheets of bronze to cover the altar, serving as a warning for future generations. And the aftermath of the rebellion led into further complaints by the Israelites, and resulting in a plague, a divine plague that killed 14,700 people before Aaron's intercession finally stopped the whole thing. It's, this is kind of there's so much to say about divine violence in the Torah. So if we read the text, that Korach, Datan, Abiram are the bad guys, because they are those who challenge Moses and Aaron's authority, which comes directly from God. So you don't do that. You don't challenge the authority. So this is a hint that actually these texts were written by human beings, right? Probably by people living in the temple, in the circles in the temple of Jerusalem, trying to enforce their own authority. And because it's all about power, it's always about power, right? However, there's something which is really striking. We cannot ignore the fact that Korach's main argument, all the community is holy, we are all equal. Why are you elevating yourself above all of us? This argument is not addressed anywhere, neither by Moses, Aaron, nor by God. And I think actually Korach was onto something here, what we call a cognitive dissonance, when there is a dissonance between what we say and what we preach, or what we live and what we say. And, when there is something which doesn't add up, and this happens in life. So on one end, the Torah says, you are all holy, you are my people, are all the same. And on the other end, God says, Moses is special. So there is something that doesn't add up. There is probably something that, can be challenged, I think, properly. But, we all have our contradictions. And maybe God was so harsh because God didn't like to be reminded that even the divine has contradictions. If you look around the world, bad and evil, all the tensions, because this is how the world, the fuel, in order to make a car drive, you need electricity, you need to burn something. There's always something what's the word? Everything has a price, right? There's also a very political message in this parasha Korach, which I will explore more tomorrow during Fran's bat mitzvah, because there's something about debate, controversy, but I just wanted to summarize a bit what I'm going to talk tomorrow if you're not coming. So this episode of Korach is remembered in the Pirkei Avot. You know, the Pirkei Avot is a Talmudic tractate that talks about how to conduct our lives. So in the chapter 5 of Pirkei Avot, this story is presented as an example of a controversy that is not for the sake of heaven, lo b'shem hashamayim. In other words, a controversy that is personal for selfish reasons and not for the greater good. Korach and his friends were driven by power, not to make the world a better place, if we follow this line of reading, of thinking. But maybe there is something here that we could actually add. Maybe it's not about what Korach and his followers said, but how they communicated their views, how they talked about how they felt, which was more like, it's an accusation, rav lachem, it's very violent, it's antagonism. It's an accusation, it's not a real argument. You know, it's like putting together arguments. And this is even, you know, illustrated by Pirkei Avot, by the same passage in Pirkei Avot, that describes a good example of controversy, l'shem shamayim, for the sake of heaven, for the greater good. And this controversy is between the houses of Hillel and the house of Shammai. So Hillel and Shammai were two prominent rabbis of the first century of the Common Era, who are very much, you know, the two ways of dealing with the law. Hillel was lenient, Shammai was strict. Hillel was accommodating, Shammai was always, you know, what's the word? Rigid. Yes, absolutely. So, and you know, you can see that. In the religious world, and everywhere actually, everywhere, you've got these two attitudes towards the situation. Either you're a bit lenient, you know, trying to accommodate, to find a solution, to understand, or you can be really strict and say, no, this is how things are gonna be done. So they say in the Talmud, there's another passage that says, Elu ve'elu divrei Elohim chaim, you know, there are both the words of a living God. We can be lenient, but also we can be strict. You know, we need a bit of both. We need a bit of leniency, accommodation, but if we're too lenient, then it becomes this kind of wishy-washy ways of living which leads nowhere. So we need a bit of both. We need to be lenient and a bit strict. But the laws, according to the Talmud, the law follows the house of Hillel. So the leniency of the debate. And why? And this is what the text says. Because they were pleasant and modest, and they put the words of the house of Shammai before their own words, which is a very interesting way to say that they debated on all the arguments. So first they explored the position of their opponents, and then they brought their own views, which is very well, you know, when you have time, when you manage to keep your emotions, it's not always easy to do. So, you know, Korach and his supporters, whatever they say, and I think they've got something interesting to say here, they're not really arguing. They're actually shouting their views, probably imbued with a sense of their own worth, making a statement about how things should be according to them, without even considering their opponent's views. It's not a discussion, it's a fight. It's a fight until one is crushed and swallowed up into the earth. And that's a bit what, you know, public debates are a bit today. People want to make a point. They want to win the argument. You know, and you may argue, and rightly so, that it's not new. This is, you know, I've rewatched recently Darkest Hours, you know, the film about May 1940, and how how Churchill came into power actually and managed to turn, the tide, because some people wanted to make peace in the cabinet, and he did it not by listening to other people's views. He did it by being forceful. And Churchill wasn't a nice and kind person. We know he was rude and ruthless, and some